این چیه تو آسمون؟ چه جالب داره میدرخشه. نه ستاره است نه چیزی. من داره حرکت میکنه.
On the 28th of February, a live video posted to Twitter captured a moment that immediately ignited global attention. Filmed over the city of Karaj in Iran, the footage showed a luminous orb suspended in the night sky. The object appeared steady, radiant, and strangely motionless, glowing against the darkness as if it were deliberately presenting itself. Within minutes of the upload, the clip began circulating widely, drawing reactions from viewers across multiple platforms. For those who witnessed it in person, the sight was unforgettable. For those who saw it online, it was deeply unsettling. Residents in the region reported that this was not an isolated occurrence. In the days surrounding the event, several glowing objects had allegedly been seen hovering silently at high altitude. Witnesses described them as bright spheres that maintained position without drifting, blinking, or behaving like conventional aircraft. Unlike planes or drones, there were no visible wings, no flashing navigation lights, and no discernible sound. The objects appeared self-illuminated, their glow steady and uniform. The phenomenon briefly trended on social media, with hashtags referencing mysterious orbs and unidentified aerial objects rising to prominence. In the viral footage, the orb remains suspended for several moments before a streak of light suddenly cuts across the sky toward it. The incoming projectile moves with speed and purpose. Seconds later, a brilliant flash erupts, lighting up the surrounding clouds and casting a glow across the city below. The orb vanishes in the burst of light. The sky, which moments earlier seemed calm and otherworldly, returns to darkness, leaving behind only confusion and speculation. Eyewitness accounts added intensity to the narrative. One observer described the object as behaving unlike any aircraft he had ever seen. He noted that it did not arc or bank as a plane would. It did not flicker as a distant satellite might. It hovered with precision, almost as though anchored in place. When the interception occurred, the explosion was said to be massive, illuminating rooftops and mountains in a sudden, blinding pulse. Others recalled the experience as surreal, as if the sky itself had briefly torn open. The flash, they said, felt like a glimpse into a hidden confrontation unfolding above ordinary awareness. Some analysts online suggested a conventional explanation. They proposed that the glowing orb may have been a simulated target used in an advanced anti-missile exercise. According to this theory, the luminous object was intentionally deployed to replicate the signature of a hostile projectile, allowing defense systems to test their response. In this interpretation, the missile that streaked toward it was part of a planned demonstration. The flash, dramatic though it appeared, was simply the visible result of a controlled interception. Yet others argued that the skies held more than a routine test. They pointed to the object's stillness and unusual luminosity as evidence that it did not conform to known military hardware. The way it hovered without visible propulsion, combined with reports of similar sightings in the region, fueled the belief that something extraordinary had entered the airspace uninvited. According to this perspective, the interception was not a demonstration, but a deliberate effort to neutralize an unidentified presence. The discussion took on an even more provocative dimension when viewers recalled statements made by Chris Bledsoe in December 2024. He had spoken publicly about luminous orbs appearing during times of global tension, suggesting that such phenomena would manifest to awaken humanity during moments of conflict. To those familiar with his remarks, the timing felt significant. The appearance of a glowing orb over a geopolitically sensitive region, followed by its sudden destruction, seemed to echo his warning. Whether coincidence or fulfillment of prophecy, the alignment of events intensified public curiosity. As the video continued to circulate, frame-by-frame analyses appeared across social platforms. Some slowed the footage to examine the orb's edges, noting how its glow remained consistent even as the missile approached. Others highlighted the trajectory of the incoming projectile, observing that it seemed precisely targeted. The debate expanded beyond Iran, with commentators drawing parallels to other incidents in which luminous objects had been intercepted or reported near sensitive airspace. Throughout modern history, glowing orbs have repeatedly been reported in the skies above regions marked by tension and conflict. From battlefields to restricted airspace, luminous spheres have appeared at moments when nations were on edge. These sightings have been described not as fleeting flashes or distant stars, but as controlled, intelligent lights that hover, maneuver, and observe. Among the most well-documented examples of this phenomenon occurred during the Second World War, when both Allied and Axis pilots encountered what became known as foo fighters. During the height of the war in the 1940s, military aviators flying over Europe, the Pacific, and North Africa began reporting strange aerial lights that accompanied their aircraft. These objects were most commonly described as glowing spheres, radiating red, orange, or white light. They appeared suddenly, sometimes forming in groups, and would position themselves near the wings or tail of military planes. Pilots noted that the lights seemed to respond to their movements. When a plane accelerated, the orbs kept pace. When the aircraft turned sharply, the lights followed without hesitation. They exhibited no visible wings, no exhaust trails, and no mechanical noise. The behavior of these objects deeply unsettled flight crews. Unlike enemy aircraft, foo fighters did not fire upon them or attempt physical interference. Instead, they appeared to observe, matching speed and altitude with uncanny precision. Military personnel initially suspected that these lights might represent a secret technological breakthrough developed by opposing forces. Intelligence officers feared advanced surveillance devices or experimental weapons. Yet no evidence ever surfaced linking the phenomenon to German or Japanese engineering. The frequency and geographic spread of the sightings reinforced the mystery. Reports emerged from bomber crews over France, fighter pilots in the Pacific Theater, and reconnaissance teams flying above North Africa. The consistency of the descriptions, despite vast distances between theaters of war, suggested that foo fighters were not isolated misinterpretations or stress-induced illusions. Trained aviators, accustomed to identifying aircraft and atmospheric conditions, consistently described luminous spheres behaving with deliberate control. As a result, secret investigative efforts were launched. Military authorities collected pilot testimonies, radar data, and mission reports in an attempt to determine the nature of the phenomenon. These programs operated quietly, mindful of both national security and public morale. Wartime secrecy meant that many findings were classified, limiting open scientific collaboration. The priority was to determine whether the objects posed a threat or represented foreign technology. Despite thorough review, no conventional explanation resolved the mystery. In the decades that followed, portions of wartime documents were declassified, revealing how seriously these encounters had been taken. Yet even with the passage of time, many details remain incomplete. Records were lost, destroyed, or heavily redacted. What endures is the testimony of pilots who insisted that the glowing orbs they encountered were real, physical presences sharing the sky with them during combat operations. Beyond the Second World War, reports of luminous orbs have continued to surface in regions experiencing geopolitical tension. Observers in modern conflict zones have described similar lights hovering silently above cities, military installations, and active battle areas. These orbs are often reported as motionless at first, then capable of rapid movement without visible propulsion. Their glow is frequently described as steady and self-contained, lacking the blinking patterns typical of aircraft navigation lights. The recurring pattern has led some researchers to consider whether glowing orbs appear during times of heightened global instability for reasons not yet understood. The idea that these objects manifest during periods of human conflict has been echoed by individuals who study unidentified aerial phenomena. Some suggest that the phenomenon may represent a monitoring presence, observing humanity at pivotal moments. Others propose advanced technology operating beyond public knowledge. Scientific communities have approached the subject cautiously. While skepticism remains, the persistence of consistent reports has encouraged investigation. Secret programs established in various nations have sought to apply analytical methods to these sightings, collecting radar data, visual recordings, and environmental measurements. Such programs serve multiple purposes. They address public concern, evaluate potential defense implications, and gather intelligence on atmospheric or foreign technological developments. public interest has also played a powerful role in sustaining inquiry. High-profile sightings generate widespread discussion and media coverage. Governments, aware of the impact of uncertainty, have occasionally acknowledged the existence of investigative efforts to maintain transparency and prevent panic. The balance between disclosure and security remains delicate, especially when unidentified objects appear in sensitive airspace. The phenomenon of glowing orbs over conflict zones stands at the intersection of history, technology, and mystery. From the skies of the 1940s to modern geopolitical flashpoints, luminous spheres have appeared during moments of human tension. They have followed aircraft without aggression, hovered above cities without explanation, and vanished as suddenly as they arrived. Despite advances in radar systems, satellite surveillance, and aerospace engineering, the fundamental nature of these orbs remains unresolved. What is clear is that the reports are genuine experiences recounted by trained observers across generations. The recurrence of glowing spheres during periods of war suggests a pattern that cannot be easily dismissed. Whether these objects represent unknown natural phenomena, advanced human technology, or something entirely beyond current understanding, their presence during moments of conflict continues to intrigue researchers and captivate public imagination.